Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm excited to have you here today as we explore an important topic in relationship psychology. Our focus will be on 8 destructive behaviors that silently weaken emotional connection, trust, and long-term compatibility. This is a crucial area because many people walk away from breakups thinking, I don't know what went wrong. But the truth is, the warning signs are often there all along. Healthy relationships rarely fall apart overnight. Instead, they tend to erode gradually through subtle behaviors, emotional blind spots, and habits that seem harmless at first but add up over time. Today, we'll identify these patterns so you can recognize and address them early, because understanding these behaviors can make all the difference in building a stronger, more resilient relationship. So let's get started. And once you lose your individuality, resentment quietly starts to grow. It's a subtle process, but it can really damage the foundation of a relationship. Personal space isn't a threat to love. In fact, it's the oxygen that keeps it alive. When we stop pursuing our personal goals or abandon friendships, we begin to lose a vital part of ourselves. This attachment at the hip might seem cute at first, but it often leads to overcloseness. While closeness is beautiful, too much of it can feel like suffocation. Spending too much time together without maintaining individual identities can create a sense of being trapped, which can breed resentment over time. So, it's really about balance, allowing space for personal growth and maintaining your own identity, because that's what keeps love healthy and vibrant. Openness to experience is actually one of the strongest predictors of long-term relationship satisfaction. When both partners stay curious, keep exploring new things, trying out different activities, and learning about each other, it helps maintain that initial attraction over time. If we want to sustain that connection, it's important to keep evolving together. On the flip side, if partners become emotionally flat, stagnant, and predictable, the relationship can start to feel dull. When routines become rigid and we avoid anything unfamiliar, it's easy for the relationship to lose its spark. That's why thriving relationships often rely on novelty, spontaneity, and emotional flexibility. Being open to new experiences and willing to step outside of comfort zones keeps things fresh and engaging. So, closing ourselves off to new experiences can really limit growth and connection. Staying open, curious, and adaptable is key to maintaining a vibrant, fulfilling relationship over the long haul. Communication isn't just about exchanging words. It truly is the backbone of emotional intimacy in any relationship. When partners stop speaking openly and honestly, it's like the relationship starts to die quietly from the inside. As trust diminishes, misunderstandings tend to grow, creating a cycle where emotional distance widens between partners. And when difficult conversations are avoided or met with reactions like sarcasm, defensiveness, or eye rolls, it only makes things worse. These behaviors signal that honesty feels dangerous or unsafe, and that's a clear sign the relationship is already in trouble. Lack of open communication can lead to growing distrust, misunderstandings, and emotional disconnect. So, fostering honest and open dialogue is essential. We need to create a space where both partners feel safe to share honestly, even when it's tough. Honesty, though it can be difficult at times, is the foundation of authentic intimacy that truly sustains long-term love. When we talk about the power of truth, it's important to recognize that each deception, no matter how small, erodes that foundation of trust. Over time, these small lies create emotional distance between partners, and this distance can really compound, making it harder to reconnect. Now, let's consider the cost of small lies. Authentic intimacy requires honesty, even when it feels uncomfortable or awkward, especially when it's uncomfortable. Because when we lie to avoid conflict, what we're really doing is postponing the inevitable. We're not protecting the relationship, we're setting it up for potential breakdown later on. Remember, love cannot survive where truth is optional. Even those seemingly harmless, small lies weaken the emotional safety that's essential for trust to thrive. It's tempting to tell a white lie to keep the peace, but in the long run, that peace is often superficial and fragile. Lying to keep the peace may seem easier in the moment, but it ultimately chips away at the genuine connection we're striving for. Avoidance doesn't keep the peace. In fact, it often does the opposite. When we choose to ignore conflicts or sweep them under the rug, we're not actually resolving anything. Instead, those unaddressed emotions tend to build up over time, turning into resentment, withdrawal, or even sudden explosions that can really damage the relationship. Remember, you can't outrun problems you refuse to face. They will catch up with you eventually. So, instead of avoiding, we should focus on strengthening our bond by understanding each other better and openly expressing unmet needs. When approached with respect, conflict can actually be a helpful tool. It's an opportunity to grow closer, clarify misunderstandings, and deepen trust. Healthy couples see arguments as a normal part of their relationship, a way to connect more authentically. On the other hand, couples who avoid conflict often end up feeling more distant and disconnected. Running away from issues may seem easier in the moment, but it ultimately leads to bigger problems down the line. So, embracing respectful conflict is really about building a stronger, healthier partnership, one where both people feel heard and valued. Let's talk about the importance of direct, honest communication. Even when it's uncomfortable, it's really the only way to truly heal and move forward. When we avoid being straightforward, passive-aggressive behavior often takes its place. And that behavior actually masks real issues, making it harder to find genuine solutions. On the flip side, while direct communication can feel uncomfortable at times, it's far less destructive than indirect hostility. Indirect hostility, like the silent treatment or backhanded compliments, damages trust, breeds insecurity, and creates confusion. It's like emotional chaos that leaves everyone feeling uncertain and disconnected. Passive aggression is really just emotional immaturity hiding behind a facade of self-control. Instead of tackling problems head-on, it manifests in ways like giving someone the cold shoulder, punishing emotional distance, or using sarcasm. These aren't healthy ways to address issues, they just create more problems. When we act passive-aggressively, we're not solving anything. We're just avoiding real dialogue, which ultimately harms relationships. So the key takeaway here is that honest, direct communication, though sometimes uncomfortable, is essential for genuine resolution and maintaining trust. Healthy love is built on respect, not micromanagement. When we try to control our partner constantly, it can make them feel inferior in their own relationship. Nagging, in particular, is a form of dominance. Instead of working together, it's an attempt to control, and that approach can really damage the emotional safety between partners. Over time, it kills self-esteem and pushes your partner away. Frequent criticism also sends a powerful message. You're not good enough. When criticism becomes a habit, it chips away at confidence and trust. So, what we want to remember is that excessive nagging and criticism aren't just annoying, they are harmful. They undermine the foundation of a healthy, respectful relationship. Instead, focus on collaboration and understanding, because that's what truly fosters love and connection. Passion, as we know, naturally evolves over time, but love requires ongoing effort and expression. It's important to remember that love isn't just a feeling. It's also about actively showing that you care, through touch, words, gestures, and simply being present. These small acts of affection can seem simple, but they often make the difference between a relationship feeling vibrant and alive or feeling neglected and abandoned. When physical or emotional affection starts to fade, partners can begin to feel disconnected, unwanted, or even unseen. This isn't just about physical closeness, it's about feeling valued and appreciated. If those gestures diminish, the emotional nourishment that keeps a relationship thriving also weakens. And that's why affection isn't optional. It's a vital part of emotional health in any relationship. When we withhold affection, intentionally or unintentionally, it can lead to feelings of loneliness and distance. So, maintaining that physical and emotional connection is essential to keep love vibrant and resilient. Healthy relationships aren't something you just stumble upon. They're something you actively build over time. And that building process happens through daily choices, honest communication, and emotional maturity. So, I want to emphasize the importance of taking consistent daily action, making conscious decisions to break negative cycles and instead foster healthier patterns. It's also crucial to commit to change. That means honestly identifying any destructive behaviors that might be present in your relationship. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward transformation. And if any behaviors sound familiar, don't panic. The key is awareness, being aware of what's happening without judgment. Because often, relationships don't fail because of one big mistake, but because of repeated patterns that slowly erode trust, intimacy, and emotional connection over time. So, as we wrap up, remember that building and maintaining healthy relationships is an ongoing process. It's about making mindful choices every day to nurture the connection you value most.